We usually think of education as a one-way street, right? Knowledge flows from the teacher down to the student. But what if that's not the whole picture? In this explainer, we're going to flip that idea on its head and see what happens when the students are the ones doing the teaching. And trust me, the lessons they offer can change absolutely everything. It all kicks off with this one simple question from a first grader. A question so surprising, so profound, that it just completely stopped a teacher in her tracks. This is the kind of wisdom we're about to get into, the kind you'll never, ever find in a textbook. Now, this is way more than just a collection of kids say the darndest things moments. This is about the really deep and tangible rewards that come with teaching. Those moments where everything gets turned upside down and learning becomes this beautiful two-way street. So we're going to walk through three incredible, distinct experiences. Three powerful moments where students stepped up and became the teachers, offering lessons that, honestly, no curriculum could ever hope to contain. All right, so let's get into our first lesson. And this one comes from a little guy, a first grader named Pranav. He was one of those kids who often seemed like he was off in his own little world. But as it turns out, he was way more connected to the world around him than anyone realized. So picture this. A teacher and her students are out on a nature walk. Pretty standard stuff. She sees a cool-looking leaf and wants to show the kids its unique shape, so she just plucks it from a bush. An action most of us, let's be honest, would do without even thinking about it. But Pranav saw it, and his voice just cuts through the moment. His question completely reframes the whole thing. He didn't see an object for a lesson plan. He saw a living being that had been, in his words, annoyed. And what happens next is just beautiful. The teacher, instead of brushing it off, asks Pranav to teach her the right way. And he lays out this simple, mindful, three-step process. It's not complicated, it's just about respect. And just like that, with one simple exchange, this teacher's entire view of the world shifts. That's the first lesson, a deep, profound reverence for all living things, sparked by a 6-year-old. It's a huge reminder to see the world not just as a bunch of resources for us, but as a community we're all a part of. Okay, so from the great outdoors, let's shift gears a bit. Our next lesson shows how another simple question can just blow up our whole perspective, turning a prayer that was meant for 2 people into something for the entire world. So imagine this. You're in an online class. The teacher is explaining a traditional Sanskrit prayer, a shloka, and she's teaching it the way it's always been taught. It's a prayer for peace between the teacher and the student. Simple enough. But then a student chimes in with this gentle but kind of world-changing question. She's basically saying, hey, that's great, but why are we stopping there? Shouldn't our circle of compassion be bigger? And you can imagine the teacher was just so touched. It wasn't about being corrected, right? It was about seeing something in a whole new, more inclusive way. It's another one of those incredible moments where the student reminds the teacher that empathy really shouldn't have any borders. And from that day forward, that prayer was never the same again. It wasn't just for us anymore. It was for everyone. It became a prayer for global peace, all because of one student's wisdom. And now the teacher says every time she recites it, she silently thanks that little girl. All right, our third and final lesson. This one's a really powerful story. It takes us into a high school where we meet a boy on the autism spectrum who ends up teaching a massive lesson about resilience, about hidden talents, and about what it means to have someone in your corner. So we've got this high schooler who's just getting crushed by the system. He's being forced into a rigid, one-size-fits-all curriculum for his board exams with zero flexibility for his needs or his unique way of seeing the world. And it was, as you can imagine, a year filled with anxiety. And this is what's so frustrating, right? You look at this slide, and on one side, you have what the school demands, this rigid list of subjects. And on the other, you have what this kid is genuinely, brilliantly good at, drawing, music, things that were getting totally overlooked. But here's the thing. He didn't give up. With his mom right there by his side, fighting for him every step of the way, he dug in, worked incredibly hard, and got through those exams. He taught his teacher a lesson in resilience that you could never learn from a book. He was a true winner. But the story doesn't end there, because after all that stress, after the exams were finally done, he gives his teacher a gift. It's a book that he wrote and illustrated himself, kind of like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, telling the story of his year, and he even included a caricature of her in it. It was just this incredible, raw, honest window into his world. It showed off his amazing talent and his unique way of looking at things. It was such a profound moment of connection, and yeah, it moved his teacher to tears. How could it not? So when you step back and look at these three stories, the first grader, the online student, the high school artist, what's the big picture here? What are they all telling us about what education really is? Well, they show us that real education isn't a lecture. It's not someone standing at the front of the room just talking at you. It's a conversation. It's a dynamic, living exchange where wisdom can and does flow in both directions. So, true education, it's not about memorizing dates and formulas. It's this messy, beautiful, living web of interactions. It's where knowledge and curiosity crash into each other, and where our shared experiences build a kind of understanding that no lesson plan could ever create. So, when it all boils down, what are the big lessons from these little teachers? It's pretty amazing, really. From Pranav, we learn reverence for all life. From the online student, we learn that our compassion should be for everyone. And from the high schooler, we see that perseverance can unearth the most incredible hidden gifts. So, I'll leave you with a thought to chew on. Think about your own life. It doesn't matter if you're a teacher or not. Who were your unexpected teachers? The people who challenged you, who made you see things differently? And what amazing lesson did they give you when you least expected it?